I've spent over $29,000 on agency and SMMA courses, learning how to book meetings, how to sign clients, how to build an offer, and how to scale an agency. And honestly, most of the information, 99%, is completely useless. So what I want to do in this video is share the 3 key lessons that's allowed me to scale my agency, and so that you can avoid having to spend $29,000 on courses, because what you'll learn in this video is everything that you need and everything that I learned from those courses encapsulated into 3 main points. And just to prove how valuable these 3 points are, yesterday alone I used the last point I'm going to mention in this video to close a $24,000 deal with an extremely simple method. So if you don't know who I am, my name's Ethan Welby. I'm the co-founder of Agency Growth Partner, and what we do is we partner with established marketing agencies to help them increase their revenue by around $50,000 to $100,000 per month by building out done-for-you acquisition systems to allow them to create an offer, book meetings, sign clients, and scale their revenues. So the first lesson that I learned from spending over $29,000 on agency courses is that there's only 3 things that you need to book meetings and sign clients, but the niche is the most important. So the way I learned this lesson was when I was in my first agency course and they were teaching me how to sign clients, how to book meetings. I figured out that there were only 3 things we needed to actually book meetings. It's an offer, attention, and sales. Right? We need an offer, we need to provide something that the market wants. We need attention, we need the market to actually see what we offer. And then we need sales. We need a way to convert this attention into a signed client. But when I was going through these courses, I saw people using the exact same offers, the exact same methods for getting attention, whether that's LinkedIn, whether that's Instagram, whether that's cold email, and the exact same sales process. But some people were getting insane results signing clients every week, and others were struggling to stand out from everyone else. And what I realized is that, of course, you need these 3 things. And if you didn't know that you needed these 3 things, it'll help a lot. But on top of that, you also need to pick the right niche. Because what I saw was that when I was joining these courses, so many people were going after the same people. For example, they were all targeting, let's say, e-com brands. Such a saturated niche, in that there are so many people offering the exact same services, whether that's Facebook ads, whether that's Google ads. And they were just struggling to stand out. But then I saw people in these obscure niches like home cleaning, and one of them was even like pet babysitting. And I didn't even know that as a thing before I saw it, but because they were in such an obscure niche, because they were in a niche where there was so little competition, they were able to stand out so easily, as opposed to helping e-com brands where every single person is in that niche. So of course you need the 3 main things: offer, attention, and sales. And make sure every single one of those things are dialed in. Make sure that you have an offer that people want. Make sure that you're getting in front of these people every day, and make sure you have a process for sales. But if you have these 3 things and you're still unable to get results, it's most likely because of your niche. So I want to recommend 2 things. Firstly, for the people who have an existing agency with many different types of case studies, many different types of niches, but also for the ones who are just starting out. So if you have many different case studies, many different niches that you help, I would highly recommend identifying which ones you think are extremely saturated. So a great indicator as to whether a niche is saturated or not is if you get the constant question, how are you different from the 10 other people that reached out to me today? Anything along these lines. If you get onto a call and people are like, yeah, I get these messages all the time. Yeah, I get offers like this all the time. You're most likely in a saturated niche. And if you do have many different niches that you've helped, many different industries that you've helped, I'd highly recommend going after the best case study that you have in a non-saturated niche. So for example, we had a client, a marketing agency, who had great case studies in e-com, but also one in manufacturing. So we were like, okay, forget the e-com. We've seen how difficult this can be. You can get results, but it's just going to be more difficult. Let's just go after the manufacturing business. And they saw such fantastic results because they were going after a niche where there's so many less people there. And we may use the exact same script, the exact same framework, the exact same lead sourcing method, but every single unit of input that we put in terms of work got 10 times more output because of what we chose. And then for the agency owners just starting out, if you have less than 3 clients, I would recommend just thinking, is your niche saturated? What made you pick this niche? Was it because everyone else was doing it? Or is it because you genuinely had experience in that niche, or you genuinely had a passion for it? And honestly, passion isn't something that I would recommend focusing on, but regardless, if you have some sort of information, some sort of understanding of the niche, is that why you chose it, or is it just because you saw other people doing it? And if it's because you saw other people doing it, because you saw some YouTuber or agency guru doing it, I would consider just evaluating it and see and then potentially changing in the future. Unless you just enjoy, more work, more effort to book meetings, more difficult to stand out, more difficult sales calls. If that's your choice, then that's perfectly fine. Now, the next lesson from spending $29,000 on courses is that you should model what they do, not what they say. And where I realized this, and you can probably identify some people doing this right now, is that in the courses itself, they tell you, hey, all you need to do is send some messages, send some DMs on Facebook, and you'll get clients and you'll have a great life and you'll be in Hawaii and you'll be doing great. But then you do it and it doesn't work. Or then you do it and you get a message back saying, hey, you look like everyone else. Are you using are you guys all in the same business? Are you like copy and pasting messages or something? And what you realize is that the way they got there isn't how you should get there. Because the thing is, a lot of these people selling courses, selling information, they make their money from selling. And they do it not necessarily through doing outreach. They do it from the content, from the YouTube channel, from the Instagram, the lifestyle, whatever it might be. And what they're teaching, while it may have been beneficial when they were doing it in like 2016, 2018, where all you need to do is send a message offering your Facebook ads to e-com brands and you'll get bookings easily, while it may have worked back then, now it's become so saturated to the point where it just doesn't work. But the thing is, they're recommending this while they use YouTube to sign all the clients. Now, this is a specific example of, creating a brand versus just sending outreach, but it applies to everything. If someone is teaching you investing and they told you to invest in this thing and they didn't invest in it, you'd be like, okay, but why? Why aren't you doing it? So what I've found is that the best thing to do is just to model what they're doing versus what they're talking about. So in the specific example of acquisition, of signing clients for agencies, creating a brand is one of those things. So for example, if you're competing with 10,000 agencies offering email marketing, it's like, how are you going to stand out from everyone else? And one of the best ways to do that is by providing more value upfront by creating the brand. So for example, in my situation, there are many people helping marketing agencies. And one of the ways that we stand out and what people say on sales calls with me is that, hey, I see a lot of people offering the same thing, but I really like you. So we're going to go with you because of the value that you provided on these videos. So what you can do to stand out immediately from every other agency is to just create content, to create the brand. And it doesn't have to be a full-time job. It just means creating some valuable videos that they can consume, that they can get value from, that they can use and see results without working with you. And then once they do speak to you, they're going to be so much more likely to buy. So that's the lesson on the specific acquisition sense. And the general lesson is to just model actions as opposed to words. And the final lesson that I learned that led to signing a $24,000 deal was that we know what to do. We just want someone to tell us to do it. So where I learned this was last week I was going for a walk, and usually on the walks I listened to an audiobook. And in this case, what I wanted to learn, what I wanted to focus on was sales and specifically objections. So I was going onto the walk, and what I realized is that I didn't have the book downloaded. It was some sales training book. And because I didn't have the book downloaded, I thought, okay, let me just walk normally without playing anything. And while I was walking, I realized to myself, I was like, I was going to read this entire book on sales and objection handling that I've already read before. Surely I remember what to do. Surely I remember what was said in this book to actually improve at objection handling, because when I was getting onto some calls in the week before, people brought up some objections that I couldn't handle, and it led to some deals not closing. So I was like, okay, I need to study this. But then I thought, while I was on this walk, I was like, the solution is probably pretty obvious. Like, what would the simple solution be? And then I was thinking to myself, what if I didn't have this book? What if I didn't have any sort of resource and I just had to come up with a simple solution to get better at sales and objection handling? And I was like, what if I just wrote down every objection that I got on these calls? If I just re-listened to them, wrote down the objections that I got, and then created rebuttals, created ways to handle these objections, and then practice it, I would probably get pretty good. I would probably be better off if I did that as opposed to not doing anything or reading a book. So then as soon as I got back, I just did that. And it was so much more beneficial than reading any book on sales, because the problem was so direct, the problem was so specific that I literally just wrote down every single thing that stopped them from buying, created a response, practiced it, and then closed the deal. So then I came to the conclusion that so many problems that we have in life or while running an agency is so simple, right? It's not actually complicated. And many times we look to consume, we look to, watch courses, read books, re-watch courses, just to feel like we're being productive when we know that there are simple solutions. We just need to take 30 seconds to actually think about it. So if there's another problem in the agency, like, oh, why are all my clients leaving so quickly? It's like, what would be the simple solution? If you didn't read a book, if you didn't watch a course, what would be the simple solution? I'd get better results, I'd respond to clients quickly if they do have a question or they need something, and just do that consistently, right? Just get better results and just provide great support. And if you do that, they will stay. The same with sales. If you wanted to get better at sales, you would re-listen to the calls, note what you did badly, note what you did well, note the objections, and then solve it, and then practice. Like, there aren't that many things to do, and it's usually very simple. So if you're watching this right now, I would highly recommend you do this exercise for any single aspect of life that you're struggling with or that you have a problem with, right? If you have a problem, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in business, literally just pause the video, stop and think, what is the problem? Then think, if there was an obvious solution or obvious solutions, what would they be? And then do those things. You don't need another book, you don't need another course, it's literally all there. So those are the 3 lessons that I've learned from spending over $29,000 on courses. And if you found this video useful, leave a like and subscribe for more. And if you want more information as to how we grow agencies on a done-for-you basis, you can just check the link in the description.